bringing sports, entertainment, and technology podcasts together. This is SPNT.
SPNT's Thursday Tech Talk is brought to you by Stitcher Smart Radio. Download the Stitcher Smart Radio app today at stitcher.com/SPNT.
Welcome to SPNT's Thursday Tech Talk, the show where we bring you the biggest stories in the world of video games, computers, tablets, mobile phones, and more. Now here's your host, Nick and, well, Nick. Two Nicks, if you didn't catch that. I'm not sure which Nick is which. Maybe they can tell you when they come on the mic. In fact, please do, guys. Maybe one of you is Nicky, maybe one of you is Nicholas. Makes it easier for the listening audience.
What's happening, everybody? It's Thursday Tech Talk here on the SPNT Podcast Network. I am your host, Nick Suberling. So glad you could join us here. It's one of my favorite times of the week. I get to hook up with my good friend, Nick Wallace, down in Nashville, Tennessee. What's happening, Nick?
Nothing much, Nick. How's it going over up there in Toledo, Ohio?
It is cold and rainy. Go figure, right?
yeah, I remember the weather very, very well.
Well, there's a lot of news as far as the tech world goes this week. Why don't we get right into our headlines?
Headlines.
As if Apple, Microsoft wasn't enough last week, guess what? Google dropped a bomb this week with a bunch of news. New phone, new tablets, new operating system. We'll let you know what we think of all of them coming up.
In a move sure to shock fans of the Mouse House and George Lucas, the Walt Disney Company said Tuesday it has agreed to acquire Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion. That's right, $1 billion in cash and stock. The company also announced that it's prepping Star Wars Episode 7 for release in 2015. With the acquisition, Disney adds one of the world's most enduring and most profitable sci-fi franchises to its ever-expanding stable. Disney, which has grown from humble animation company to massive media brand, successfully roped in Pixar in 2006 and bought Marvel Entertainment in 2009, also for $4 billion. Buying Lucasfilm, Disney chairman Robert Iger said, was in line with the Marvel acquisition. The move essentially means Disney has cornered the market on superhero and sci-fi fantasy films.
Microsoft decided to delay some of the Windows 8 hype to this week when they launched Windows Phone 8. The last part of their entire Windows 8 vision launched this week with a press conference announcing new phones and giving you a nice sneak preview at what's to come in the new version of the operating system.
Boxee already revealed many of the details behind its all-new Boxee TV, but we were still waiting for an official launch. Well, that wait is now over. Through the holiday season, the new cloud DVR streaming set-top box will be available exclusively at Walmart stores around the U.S. as well as on Boxee's website. To go along with the launch, Boxee is offering a few early adopter perks. Anyone who purchases Boxee TV during the holiday season will get 3 months of the cloud-based, no-limits DVR for free and will be able to subscribe to it for a discounted price of $9.99 per month after.
Even though I'm about to surrender my video game life to Assassin's Creed 3, I wasn't too blinded not to notice that there were a few console updates. Microsoft released a new update to the Xbox. Sony dropped a new update on the PS3. We'll talk about what this means for all us gamers shortly.
Paul Allen's memoir, Idea Man, is out in paperback this week, and the Microsoft co-founder has penned an epilogue updating readers on some of the book's major storylines, including the status of his friendship with Bill Gates. Allen writes that he and Gates had no contact for more than a year, and he feared that their friendship might be permanently ruptured. However, after Allen's mother, Faye, passed away in June, Gates told Allen how sorry he was to hear the news and that he hoped to renew their friendship. I believe we will be friends again, writes Allen. The history we share is more powerful than whatever comes between us. And that's a look at our tech headlines for this week.
Headlines.
So let's take a quick break to tell you about Gazelle.com. Gazelle offers you a fast and easy way to get cold hard cash for your used electronics. Got an old iPhone, maybe an old iPad, or maybe a smartphone you're no longer using. You've got cash just sitting around your house and you don't even know it. Sell those devices to Gazelle. They offer free shipping, secure data removal, and they'll even send a box for your gadgets to make packaging Easy. Check it out today at spnt.tv/Gazelle. All right, Nick, let's talk about some of the bigger news in this week's headlines. Probably the big shocker, or at least from my standpoint, was Lucasfilm and Disney. What that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't see this coming a mile away. I remember I was in a meeting at work, and all of a sudden our vice president runs in, interrupts the meeting to let us know that this popped on the wire. Disney really becoming the ginormous media empire that we thought it was, but apparently not. Now at Marvel, now they got Lucasfilm. And I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there rejoicing at this. The prequels weren't exactly a fan favorite of us older geeks. So now that Lucas is pretty much out of control of everything and Disney's got it, this is a interesting acquire, but Disney seems really focused on the film stuff, but this leaves, everything else to be determined with the video game, because they got LucasArts, which is part of it, and they also have the books and the comic books and all the other storylines going on. So don't know what Disney's going to do with those, but what do you think, Nick? Another Star Wars trilogy coming in 2015.
I only saw episode 1. I have not seen 2 or 3, and I probably won't. Well, I shouldn't say probably won't. It's just I haven't had an opportunity to. But from all accounts I've heard, I shouldn't. But one of the cool things that brings up an interesting point as far as the acquisition goes is I'm pretty certain that now Disney owns Industrial Light and Machine?
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge deal because now they can use that for some of their other movie franchises.
They pretty much got the top tier technology in film now. Disney was one of the pioneers of IMAX, which is one of my favorite ways when I do go to the movie theater to go watch a movie in an IMAX. But now, on top of that, they got Industrial Light and Magic for special effects, Skywalker Sound for the sound effects, and THX also. So they got all this technology that George has helped invent with his money behind the scenes. And there's a question I have. What about Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I'm assuming that means more of those as well.
I mean, Harrison's getting a little old here, so I don't know if they can pull it off. I mean, I wasn't a fan of 4. The trilogy of Indy was perfectly good to me. But they didn't. I don't see anything about Indy in all these news stories I've been reading. It's all about Star Wars, of course, since that's the the big daddy. But is it shocking how much money Disney actually has? I mean, they acquired Marvel for $4 billion. Now Lucasfilm that's $8 billion in 2 years almost. No, they bought it in 2009. So that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and it's hard to get your mind around that figure. You're right, because it is a lot of money. I'm just wondering now. You bring up a good point about Indiana Jones. I'm not sure how the new Star Wars movies will be. I don't know. There was a lot of backlash about even episodes 1, 2, and 3. But now with the company being sold, Lucas is no longer. He's not going to have his hands in them. I'm sure he'll be some kind of an advisor or some kind. But as far as the creative process, he's kind of no longer there. I mean, he's there, but you know what I mean. It's not his thing anymore. And he even said it himself. It's time for me to pass on Star Wars to a new legacy of filmmakers.
Which I think is one of the best moves Lucas has ever made in his career, honestly. If you look at the original trilogy, he wrote and directed episode 4, which in filmmaking is the weakest of them. I mean, it's not that good of directed. It's not that well written of a script. Lucas is really good at coming up with stories, but taking those stories and applying them to script and film, that's where he falls apart. My favorite episode 5, was not written by Lucas, and it was directed by Irving Kershner, which was one of, I think, the best directed of all these Star Wars movies. And if you look at the original trilogy, where he wrote and directed all of them, and it got lambasted by pretty much every fan out there, and I just don't think that's his strong suit. I think his strong suit is coming up with ideas, and now that he's got all this stock in Disney, they can use him for those ideas to say, "Hey, George, come up with a cool concept for us," and then they can give it to other people and take it there, because Lucas is very good at creating universes and stories, and he's just not good at translating that to film, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge story. It's a huge, just a huge dollar figure. Just the sheer amount of money that just kind of exchanged hands here is, man, I sure wish I had that. Send some of that our way here at SPNT.
How about you send it that way and count it as a refund for me going to the theater to see the original trilogy?
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So that's some big news. Other than I don't know what's going to happen with Indiana Jones. I'd imagine, though, that there will be some movies coming out with probably every other year, kind of like what they're doing with some of the Marvel titles.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was freaking out about Marvel when Disney bought them, but they've done a good job. Avengers is widely regarded as the best comic book movie ever, even though I think Batman is. But Disney did not kill Marvel when they bought them. I don't think they're going to kill Lucasfilm either. No,
there's too much of a legacy and too great of some of the greatest movie franchises of all time. You can't ruin them, and there's a lot of pressure on Disney now. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, what else we got this week?
Well, we got this Boxy TV, which I've been hearing rumors about for a few months here, and this is an interesting concept to me. It looks like Boxy, which was the original Boxy box, is pretty much the same as a Roku or an Apple TV. In my eye, they added some other functionality, but it still didn't get to the point of where this is. This looks like they're trying to cut cable out altogether, or satellite. So you can get cloud-based DVR. It's only $100. You got Netflix and Vudu, which explains the Walmart connection because Vudu's owned by Walmart. But looks like it's a more powerful box, and they're going right after those cord cutters, which it kind of intrigues me, as I want to be a cord cutter down the line here.
So explain cloud-based DVR, because when I think of DVR, I think of just, basically a digital way to record your shows. So, like, if it's not connected to cable, what is it recording?
It's actually recording shows off of the internet.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know the technical details yet because I haven't released it yet. But what essentially it's doing is you take those, like if you went to Hulu to watch a show, what the Boxy box is doing is taking that show that premiered and saving it on your box so you can watch it later. So it's same thing as cable DVR, but you can now get it off the internet instead of over your cable with your cable company or satellite. And it's they say no limits, and because it's cloud based, that means it's not, you know how your drive gets full if you have too many shows recorded. You're not going to have that problem. You could DVR everything that's available.
Interesting.
And the only downside is it's only coming to certain cities at first. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and DC.
Makes sense.
The big cities right now, but you know that's going to roll downhill if it takes off. So if a lot of people buy this and start using it, then we'll eventually see it here in Nashville and up in Toledo as well. But I'm curious to see, because if I can buy a box for $100 and just watch all the TV I want, that would be perfect.
How would that work for sports? That might be tough.
That's the downside. No one has figured out sports yet. For us Notre Dame fans, we'd be okay because the new Boxy TV box has an antenna hookup.
Oh, okay.
You can get NBA, you can get all your local channels over the air HD. So if you hook up an HD antenna, you'll get them over the air HD. So if sports is on your local channels, then you're good. But you're not going to get your ESPN. You're not going to get you might get your ESPN3 eventually, like they put the app on the Xbox, right?
Right, but that's Xbox. That's Xbox and Microsoft exclusive right now. You can't even get it on your PS3. You can't get it on Roku. That's where I'm kind of curious how that would work.
Yeah, I definitely know there's going to be MLB TV. The app's going to be on the Boxy Box. You got to give it to Major League Baseball. They've been pretty open about, we don't give a crap what's shown on the TV. We're going after it no matter what, So if you want to sign up for, I think it's $150 a year, $200 a year to watch all the baseball you can eat, you'll have that. I know when hockey comes back, they'll have an app on there because they have an app on everything as well. So you got baseball, hockey, but without the NFL.
Well, that's NFL's got Sunday Ticket. I mean, they're on PS3, not on Roku, not on Xbox. So if they could get the Sunday Ticket somehow onto the Boxy, those guys might be a little. The Boxy might have a chance. I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about it to really know if the $100 is worth it. The cloud base is intriguing to me, but at the same time, like with me, you know how I am. I'm all sports all the time. I need my sports, and if I can't get it, it's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, this is more of the, hey, this thing's coming out. It's going to be at Walmart, and when it comes out, and when people start buying it, and when we see people on the internet who review this stuff start getting review units and start looking at it, we'll learn more about it. But it's an interesting concept. Boxy really seems to be going after cable and satellite really, really as much as they can. So, and I'm all for that, because when you look at people's cable and satellite bills, I think we're getting ripped off left and right.
Well, I wish they would do it a la carte, but that might be a topic for a whole nother show.
So the next thing we saw out there is console updates. So both the Xbox and the PS3 had huge updates recently. The Xbox has been out for a couple weeks, but it's rolling out slowly. I just recently got mine, which does the Metro UI on it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more Metro to match Windows 8 and Windows Phone and Windows Surface. So they fixed that up. Still's got the giant ads in it, though, which really make me angry. I don't like seeing a big ad in my little rectangles. And the thing that cracks me up the most is on the game tab. The ad is bigger than the play a game button.
Yep.
Which just that baffles me, because I'm going to the game tab to play a game.
You know what else, Nick? They released a web browser for the 360 as well. And guess what?
What?
You can't even download it unless you're a gold member.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. Not that I use the web browser on my PS3 that often. I only used it when they didn't have a YouTube app on it, and I wanted to watch a YouTube video on the TV. Before now, I have a Roku and PS3 as a YouTube app, and to pay $60 a year for a web browser, come on, give people the web browser for free.
I hear you. Hey, guess what? I've got some news for you.
What's that?
I've got a PS3, baby. That's right. I made the switch, folks. Little cheer for me. PS3. I'm here. That's right. Add me to the PlayStation Network. I've used it for a couple of days now, Nick, and you and I finally connected. We are friends on there. But I must say this. I know we were talking about the console updates. I downloaded the update to the PlayStation 3 as soon as I turned it on. And the YouTube app is terrible. It is worthless. I can't watch a single video on there, Nick. It is choppy, doesn't work at all. It's terrible.
Now this is coming from the other consoles where their YouTube apps are even worse. Sony has probably the best YouTube app, which isn't saying much.
The UI, by the way, the UI for that app is fantastic. Love it. And what's even more cool about it, Nick, is I could use my phone as a way to search for videos and play it through that way. Can't play video. It's horrible, awful. It's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, I don't think Sony wrote it. I think Google did. So we'll have to wait till Google fixes it.
Ugh, it's terrible.
That is some of the best video player UI I've seen on a console in forever. I just couldn't believe how easy it was to browse YouTube. They really thought about using a controller, and I really appreciate that. Not as much typing, to search for stuff, because we all know typing on a console keyboard is not exactly the easiest thing in the world. But, yeah, I'm glad you converted to the PS3. At least you don't have to pay $60 a year to play FIFA online. So,
yeah. Oh, that was a nice little selling point. I like my Xbox. It does have it has its pluses. Obviously Halo 4, which is kind of newsworthy again, I believe. But no, I'm glad I got it. It was weird. Like, I haven't held a PlayStation controller probably in, I got my first Xbox in 2006. So it's been 6 years since I touched a PlayStation controller, and it was so weird.
Yeah, it hasn't changed since essentially much since the PS1 days. It's pretty much the same as it was back then. So, for me being a PlayStation guy, even through the PS2 era, it was just comforting. I'm used to it. But
Anthony in our chat room says he likes his Xbox 360. He'll never change. He says one main reason, Assassin's Creed 3. But I'm confused because that game's on all the consoles, and in fact, the PlayStation 3 has 4 PlayStation 3 only levels that are exclusive to the PlayStation Network. Nick, I'm surprised that Anthony had that to say in the chat room.
Yep, actually, Assassin's. This is a good knowledge for everyone out there. Every console game, or every game in general, if it's multi-platform, it's written towards one, and then they port it to the others. So, in the case of one of my favorite games of last year, Deus Ex: Human Revolution, that was written for the PlayStation 3. That was the core platform, and then they ported it to the Xbox and the PC. So I bought it on the PS3 because that's what they wrote it on. Assassin's Creed 3 is written as a core for the PS3. That's the system they go for the first. That's the system they favorite. And usually the Xbox has a slight edge in graphics because of the way the Xbox manages memory on the console. Manages a lot better than the PS3. But I've played Assassin's Creed on both, and the PS3 one's always been more stable and ran a lot better to me. And you get those exclusive content. They had it with Assassin's Creed 2. They had it with the expansions, the little expansions to Assassin's Creed 2. And now they got it with Assassin's Creed 3. Those missions will be on Xbox eventually, but I don't know how long the exclusivity deal lasts. It's kind of like the Call of Duty maps that come out for Xbox first. It's the same concept.
I will say this, and as somebody who has been loyal to the Xbox over the last couple of years, I loved that I could install the game to my hard drive and play it from that, Nick. Now, when I load up a game, I've only got one game on the PlayStation right now, and that's NCAA football, which already takes a long time to get loaded and runs very slowly. Now, couple that I can't install it to the hard drive, and it's running from the disk. I've even noticed that moving through menus is difficult. It's not as responsive. It's not as quick as my Xbox 360, but that's the only downside that I've got so far, that I can't install it to the hard drive. There's plenty of space to do it, and that's what's unfortunate, because I don't even know what I'm going to do with all that disk space. I got the 250 gigabyte Uncharted bundle. I didn't even keep the game. I sold the game, and I don't know what I'm going to do with all that hard drive space.
And unfortunately, the PS3 gets a bad rap for that when it's actually not Sony's fault. That's EA dropping the ball. Like, if you ever bought Metal Gear Solid 4, it installs 6+ gigs to the hard drive.
Wow.
So it depends on the PS3. It's more, does the person who make the game want to install something to make it run faster? So that it's actually up to the publishers to do it, and not Sony. I don't know if they could ever add that enhancement to it because it wasn't on the Xbox originally. I was happy when they did because I had an original Elite which sounded like a jet engine when it was running, and the PS3 to me is a lot quieter, so that part doesn't bother me. But you're right, some games don't perform as well because you can't install them to the hard drive. So I wish they'd add that because one of the first things I did when I got Mass Effect 3 on the Xbox, I installed it to the hard drive and it ran so quickly.
I did that with all my Xbox games. I would always install it. So, it's a personal preference. The other cool thing too about the new model, it's the top loader. So I had a hard time figuring out how to even get the thing open. It was kind of bizarre. I figured it out, obviously, but I'm pretty excited to be part of the PlayStation Network along with my good buddy Nick.
Yeah, leave it to Sony to try and bring back the top loader.
Hey, it works.
Can't believe that. I've never been a fan of the top loader, except for one. The NES top loader was way better than the original model because you didn't have to blow in the cartridges 900 times. But yeah, I mean, to each its own on the system. It's I own both. The only one I sold was the Wii because that had nothing for me. But I look at it as I'm a majority PS3 gamer. If I'm gonna buy the game on console, odds are it's gonna be PS3. I play a lot more games over the PlayStation Network than I do over Xbox Live for the Xbox Arcade. But I like having my Xbox because if I do want to get a Call of Duty, everyone on Xbox Live. Gears of War has been one of my favorite game series, and that's Xbox exclusive. Halo, I love Halo. I play the multiplayer for months when a new Halo comes out, and that's Xbox exclusive. So I think now with the prices the way they are before the new consoles come out, it's worth it to get both of them because they both have their advantages and they both have their disadvantages. But if you buy an Xbox, definitely search the web because you can find Xbox Live subscriptions for like $20 on there, and that's how I do it. I do not pay $60 for a gold subscription.
$20 is still too much, Nick.
Yeah, nothing beats free. But you do get what you pay for, and the PSN does take a lot more maintenance than Xbox Live does.
Either way, I'm excited. I'm happy to be on the new network, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You can add me on BGStud03. Yes, I know it sounds a little odd. I'm a graduate of BGSU, hence the BG. Do you want to give your handle out, Nick?
It's Black Neuron, just like my Twitter handle. The color black, and then Neuron, Neuron. That's on Xbox and PlayStation. It's the same on both for me.
Same here. I got both as well. I was surprised that my tag was available on the PlayStation Network. I really was surprised. I thought I'd have to come up with something new.
I figured you'd be all right. It's when you got those, if you try to use your name, then you're pretty much toast. But you got to remember that the PSN's not a requirement. You don't have to make an online tag with the PSN. So there's a lot more PSNs that aren't registered than there are Xbox Live.
And there aren't that many studs out there. Let's be a little realistic, Nate. Come on now. I'm so kidding. Oh my gosh, this show is going nowhere quickly. All right, what else we got to talk about?
Let's cover it then. We got Windows Phone 8. Microsoft just couldn't let someone else have a news cycle the next week. They had to hog it 2 weeks in a row. Windows Phone 8 officially launched, SDK for developers out there, which was a big sticking point because they wouldn't give developers the ability to develop for it before they announced the thing. But we got it out there, got some new phones. We got my buddy Steve, he said he's going after the HTC Windows Phone 8X. It's $150 in T-Mobile, and it's also on Verizon for $200. So he's going after that. It seemed more like in this announcement, I watched the announcement, and they used to be Nokia, really in line with Nokia, but it seemed like they were favoring HTC this time. And HTC seems to be having the best phones out there overall, from what I see. So that's pretty interesting. And HTC's kind of getting their clock clean on Android by Samsung. So if you're getting your clock clean on that, why not go to something that no one owns yet, a market that you're not the top phone, and that's Windows Phone. A lot of good improvements to this thing. I played with a Windows Phone 7. My dad actually has one, and I used his for a while. I dug the UI just like a Zune, so it was really easy to pick up. But now they made it, I think, a ton better on the phone. Because the one thing I hated with the phone is you turn it on and whatever color you picked, every icon was that color. You'd be staring at just a bunch of blue the whole time. Now, if you look at some of the screenshots online, you can see that, yeah, there's still that one color for the Microsoft tiles, but Facebook is its own color. Pinterest is its own icon. Yelp is its own icon. Flickster, OpenTable, all of those are their own icons. ESPN, it's a big red one, and the Xbox stuff is all green. So it has got that same UI where it scrolls across the screen instead of up and down as much. I'm very curious about this phone. I want to wait to get till someone has one that I know so I can check it out. But it seems very intriguing what they're doing with it. The software to sync it, which they need to stop syncing. They need to get where Apple and Google are quickly. But at least the software to sync it isn't a big bloated iTunes like thing. It's already built into Windows 8. You just plug your phone in and the sync thing loads up, and then it'll sync all the stuff with it. So it's not not bloated like that, which is very, very nice. They went after the kids market a little bit with Kids Corner, where you can restrict apps and they can't exit it. So you don't have to worry about your kid calling China. The ones that got NFC have the tap to send, which you see in all the Android commercials now, making fun of Apple. So guess what? You're not the only one out there now, Android either. They improved the camera. They improved the music and videos app, which by improved looks like to me they just made it the Xbox Live or the Xbox Music and Videos app. So I don't know how improved that is. It's just a different app altogether. They got the NFC wallet, which Google has, so they're not the only ones with that either. Office built in. That's huge for companies who are office companies. So you got Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote built in, which I'm testing a lot of now that I got the Windows 8 machine up and running in the new version of Office. So I'll talk about that later after I'm done testing it. But built in Office, don't have to pay for it. That's pretty neat. IE10 built in. Of course, Bing is built in. They got a backup, so everything can sync to the cloud. It's not like syncing where you're copying your music and stuff. All it is your app list and your app settings, text messages, photos, and videos. So it's not everything, but they're getting close. Over-the-air updates, which they really couldn't do. They had to go through the carriers with Windows Phone 7, so looks like now they're going to be more control the updates, which is good for everybody. And overall, pretty good announcement, I thought. Microsoft's really throwing in everything with Windows 8 and they got the desktop market locked down, but they're going after everything else.
I was going to say, you mentioned HTC. I had an HTC Android phone, Nick, and I will say this. I enjoyed the user experience with the HTC Incredible that I had versus this Motorola Zoom. It was way better. The functionality as far as my contacts go, like with my phone now, I've synced my Facebook contacts, and yet I still can't get any of my friends' pictures as my contacts. Not that, again, that's a minor sticking point, but thought that was a really cool feature with the HTC phones and their software. So and Anthony in the chat room says he had the HTC Incredible, but the GPS didn't work well. So yeah, I had no problems with the GPS. The only thing that I thought the GPS didn't do well on those phones was that it just ate the battery, which it does for every phone. So again, I really like what HTC does. In fact, I was using my wife's phone. She has the Incredible tonight, and I was using it, and I was amazed at how much better it is than the phone I have, which is 2 years newer, Nick. I don't understand it, and I'm hoping that they have some good luck with Windows phones.
I think they will. HTC got their start as a company who took a very horrible Windows Mobile 5, 6 era, and they essentially reskinned it and made it work on a phone. So that's where they got that UI prowess that they put to use in Android as well. The one thing that some HTC fans might be upset about is with a Windows Phone, you're not allowed to reskin it like you are Android. It's got to look like Windows Phone. So if a company wants to put a specific style, like HTC always had that weather clock app, it's got to be a separate app. You won't get that on the home screen in these phones. So that's a Microsoft restriction. They want all the phones to be uniform on the OS level, just like Apple is with obviously with iOS 6.
Makes
and
sense.
Google with their phones, with the core Nexus phones. But I'm happy. HTC, smart move, I think, on their part. They were getting their clocks cleaned to Android, and it wasn't looking up. So why not jump back to what you started with, which is Windows?
One more thing. Let's do one more. I want to bring up a topic that, in fact, our friend Anthony, he IM'd me earlier this week, Nick. He downloaded was going to make the purchase of Windows 8. And unfortunately, he couldn't just download it and save it. It made him install it right then and there. There was no way to avoid that, and he was very upset by that. What are your thoughts on the new Windows 8 operating system when you make the purchase that you have to install it right away?
Yeah, that's the thing that I didn't have to go through. Being a member of TechNet, I got to download it and install it at my will. Which was good because what I ended up doing was taking my Windows 7 installation, wiping it, reinstalling Windows 7 stock, updating Windows 7, and then installing Windows 8 after that. So it was a clean install as possible. Yeah, Microsoft is doing that. I wish they would notify people before they click buy.
Yeah, that would be kind of helpful, wouldn't it?
If they are, make it bigger because obviously people are missing it. But still, my recommendation to people who don't want to do that, for $20 extra, you get it delivered to you on a DVD. So you can go that route. Still, $69.99 for the new version of Windows Pro, the top of the line one, is ridiculously cheap. Windows 7 Home Premium was $150 for the upgrade, and that was like the base model. The base model I'd recommend to people, and professional was almost $300. So to get it on DVD for an extra $20, if you don't want to install it right away, go that route and just pay the extra $20 and get a DVD. Plus, then you got a DVD in case the internet goes down. So
I think I paid for. I want to say we got Windows 7 Home, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Home print, no. I know we got the family pack of the 3 licenses, and we only paid $129 for it. So
yeah, that came out a little while after Windows 7 launched, and I was telling everybody to buy that if they were thinking about getting Windows 7, even if you weren't a family, just to get. It was cheaper than the upgrade of Home Premium, which was $30 more, and you got 3 copies of it, and it was Home Premium in the family pack. So that was smart to do it that way instead. But
well, Anthony says he's going to pass. He's got a promo code for only $14.99 because he bought a Windows 7 PC with an upgrade to Windows 8 available later. So I guess you just have to wait, and when you're ready to do it, then make the purchase. But you have till, I believe, January till the price goes up.
Yep, January 31st.
So there you go. Interesting stuff there. Nick, do you got an app of the week?
Hang on, we got to go through the Google real quick.
Oh, let's do it quick. We're at 42 minutes already.
We're not going to go into too much detail because it's really not super exciting yet, but we're just going to go through really quick what they announced. They announced a new phone, the Nexus 4. It's replacing the Galaxy Nexus by Samsung. This one's built by LG. LG back in the phone market. Huge. It's got a pretty much a slightly bigger display, better pixel density. Got the new Qualcomm chip, quad-core CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, wireless charging. You don't have to plug it in. 8 megapixel camera and a 1.3 megapixel front camera. It's got the new Android version, 4.2, still Jelly Bean, which, of course you get the stabilization updates, but you also get a new panorama feature that seems to be all the rage now, and gesture typing, which kind of kills swipe right there. And now they're supporting the Apple AirPlay, where you can send what you're watching to your TV. Google's got its own version of that. It's $300 for 8 gig, $350 for 16, only on T-Mobile right now. So we'll see what happens then. Updated to the Nexus 7, which was a big seller. Got the 4G built in now, so no more Wi-Fi only. And they upgraded the storage. You got 16 gig is the base model, 32 gig up there, and runs on AT&T and T-Mobile. And probably the biggest non-shocker of all, the Nexus 10, a 10-inch tablet. So now Google is in line with Apple. You got a big one, a middle one, and a small one. And the big one is it's almost Retina resolution. It says it's the highest resolution on the market, and technically it is higher than the iPad. But I gotta wait till I see the display, because they can say it's got the best resolution and pixel density all they want, but if the display's made pretty crappy, that doesn't matter. So I'll have to wait and see the display. If it does beat the iPad, good on them, because that'll just make Apple make a better one. I love competition. 8 megapixel rear camera, not that you would really want to take pictures with a tablet. 1.9 megapixel front camera, so you can do video chats. That's more important. Mm-hmm. Dual core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, built-in NFC, a micro HDMI port. Hook it right up to your TV, which is pretty awesome. So stuff you buy from the Google Play Store goes right out there. All these will get Android 4.2. Ships November 13th for that one. 16 gig 400, 32 gig 500. So right in line with the Apple pricing as well.
Anthony in the chat room says drool. He's excited. Speaking of the chat room, we record this show every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time at spnt.tv/live. We'd love to see you here in the chat room. Join Anthony. He's been the only guy so far. He's our super fan. We're so thankful that he joins us every Thursday, Nick. But we'd love to hear some more opinions. We'd love to see you in the chat room. Join us every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Was there one more thing you wanted to mention about Google?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of good things about the phone. We'll talk about it when more reviews come in.
All right. So is it time?
It is time.
Listening audience, it's that time in the show you've all been waiting for. The time when Nick tell you their apps of the week.
Thank you, Uncle Rob. That's right. It's time for App of the Week. Nick, what do you got for us this week?
Well, my app of the week is going to shock you.
Okay.
It's kind of a big app. My app of the week is Windows 8. It's out. It's $40. I'm really enjoying it now that I've been using it for 2 months. I'm really used to the Metro UI. I'm used to the keyboard shortcuts. I like the simplicity of the user interface a lot more when it comes to no transparencies and all that. It looks clean. It looks slick. I love the integration with all the stuff. I haven't had to download a single driver yet, which blows my mind. Runs every game I have good. Actually, ironically, the only thing that doesn't run as good is Firefox, but I'm sure they'll put an update for that right away. So I say go get it. It's extremely stable, and it runs faster than Windows 7 does on my PC. It runs a lot faster than Windows 7 does. So I recommend go out there and grab it. Or if you want to get a new tablet and you want Windows 8, go get the Surface. And then you'll get Windows 8 on a tablet and Office for free. So that's my app of the week, Windows 8.
That doesn't count.
It counts, man. It's a giant application because you need that application to run other applications.
You're being called a fanboy, and you're not even a Windows guy. You're a Snapple.
I'm an Apple guy. I have a Mac. I use the Mac more than anything. Pretty much the only thing the Windows machine was there for was to do development and play games. And I'm really digging what they did with it. I was really impressed with Windows 7. I'm not dissing Windows 7 at all. They took it more Mac-ish, to be honest. So that impressed me, and now they went their own way with Windows 8, and I think they did a good job because, like I said when we talked about the review of it, while the UI is still, even with me, hit or miss, the underlying core architecture of that operating system was rewritten from the ground up. It has none of the legacy stuff, since there was still stuff in Windows 7 from the Windows 3.11 days inside that operating system. And Microsoft went through, took all that out, rewrote it, made it more stable, and it shows how good it runs.
All right. It's not an app, but okay, whatever.
I'm counted as, there's tons of applications for free in the Windows. Actually, there is a ton of Xbox. They call it Xbox on Windows 8. A ton of free games, and you get Xbox achievements in them too. I almost got all the achievements in Solitaire.
Okay, we'll let it slide. It's not an app, but whatever. Well, again, that's one more thing than you have. I don't have one this week. I couldn't come up with one. I was going through my phone, looking through it, and going.
It's actually been, and the reason I picked Windows 8, I was going through my phone and couldn't find one. It's been kind of a slow app week.
Well, and it's probably we're so used to using these applications, Nick, that we don't even notice we're using them probably most of the time. So I'm sure there are apps that we could mention. And again, I want to hear your feedback. Give me an app. Email us at techtalk@spnt.tv. I know we're flaking out here. I don't have one. I apologize. I played the awesome theme music, and yet we did not deliver.
We did not deliver. But also maybe the app makers are holding back. I mean, they really can't get any publicity when you got Apple, Microsoft, and Google dominating with the hardware news.
I know we're flaking out. We apologize. We'll come back stronger next week with some better apps. And again, that email address, techtalk@spnt.tv. Also, give us a follow on Twitter at SPNT Tech Talk. I kind of butchered that one last week. I think I gave the wrong Twitter account. Not that it mattered, but yeah, I gave it out. It was incorrect. SPNT Tech Talk is our Twitter handle. Make sure you give us a follow. Is there anything else we need to hit up on, Nick?
No, it's pretty much it. Go Irish this weekend. Let's keep the ball rolling there. Stay undefeated, and I'll be pretty much knee deep in Assassin's Creed for a while.
One bit of self promotion here on the Thursday Tech Talk. Our sister podcast here on the network, Who Day Weekly, which is a Bengals podcast for those of you that don't know, is the show that I host and produce each and every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, live here at spnt.tv. And just wanted to give everybody a chance. We are a finalist in the sports category in the Podcast Awards. To give you an idea about the Podcast Awards, there were 5,000 shows nominated in this award ceremony. And to be in the final 200 shows and the top 10 in all of the sports podcasts that were nominated is a huge honor. We're up against 4 ESPN podcasts, a CBS podcast, and a Yahoo Sports podcast. To just give you an idea of the sheer amount of competition in this category. We were a finalist a year ago and lost to ESPN. And now we want to come back stronger this year. We want to win. So if you're listening and you have a second, please log on to podcastawards.com. There, I even showed a picture of what the website looks like. You can check it out, podcastawards.com. Log on. You can vote every day from now until November 15th. Vote once per day. Vote for our show, Who Day Weekly. Thursday Tech Talk was not eligible this year, obviously, because we didn't have episodes in 2011. So I'm strongly endorsing a good friend of mine in the podcasting world. His name's Daniel J. Lewis. He's the host of the Audacity to Podcast. Give that show a vote. He's a good dude, and he does a great job. So give them their tech vote this year, and then maybe next year, if we're a finalist, come back to us. But again, that website, podcastawards.com. Enough self-promotion out of me, Nick, and it's again truly an honor to be a finalist, and And I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to the New Media Expo in January. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to get to see Leo Laporte, your best friend.
Yeah, my buddy. Yeah, you're going to get to meet one of the nicest men in tech, essentially. He's a good guy. You'll get to check him out. And 4 ESPN podcasts?
Yeah. And they're all fantasy sports podcasts, too, so...
It's not even like what's going on in football or baseball or whatever.
No.
Wow.
But you know what's cool, Nick? With SPNT, we've got so many sports podcasts on the network now that hopefully we just inundate the category next year. Although you could also make the argument that we're going to ruin it because we're going to take all of our nominations and spread them out when we should probably just focus on one show,
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at it now. You got all of them are fantasy, except for all the other ones that are non-commercial. Non-CBS, non-ESPN. So
yeah, Golf Smarter. I'm not familiar with them. American Wojcinski, I think is how you say it. They're Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
And then we're up against the Sklar brothers. Are you familiar with them? The twin comedians.
Sklar brothers. I'm not voting for them. I'm voting for Who Day Weekly, but I love their comedy.
Oh, they should be in the comedy category, not the sports category.
The sports podcast?
Whatever.
Yeah, definitely go out there and vote because when you got smaller networks like us at SPNT, this is pretty much the biggest way we can go out there and compete with the big boys of ESPN and CBS. Just go, folks, remember who thought of this? It wasn't a big media company, didn't think of podcasting. It was a bunch of internet geeks. So go out and vote for those internet geeks who embrace it and keep it in the family, as it were.
Absolutely. Podcastawards.com is the address. And please, if you get a chance, log on and vote each and every day. Nick, it's been fun. Episode, we've been doing so many shows now. We've been on a good run here. I can't even remember what episode we're on.
9. Because remember, last week was 8 for Windows 8.
Well done, Nick. Good memory. That is episode 9. Have a good week, and I'm sure we'll catch you later.
Yep. Voting for it right now.
There you go. Episode 9 of Thursday Tech Talk in the books. Don't forget, you can email us at techtalk@spnt.tv and give us a follow on Twitter at SPNT Tech Talk. Thursday Tech Talk is an SPNT production. For more information about our other podcasts, log on to spnt.tv. For my co-host, Nick Wallace, I'm Nick Zuberling. We'll see you next time on Thursday Tech Talk.